Hey guys, it's Joey. We're here again with Anthony.
Yes, hello. Again.
Talking about The Secret History of Twin Peaks by Mark Frost, who helped create and write Twin Peaks when it was on the air, late 80s, early 90s. Got 30 episodes in a movie. Lot not wrapped up. There's a lot that was not wrapped up. The book tried to wrap some of that stuff up.
Sort of brings us up to date, but there's still a question.
There's probably even more questions than there were previously. It really is sort of a backstory on the city of Twin Peaks, the town of Twin Peaks. And
it also streamlines some of the plot points, I believe.
Yeah, it does. It sort of
however
makes
clumsily
more sense, I guess.
Adds some wrinkles.
Just to put it out there, the book is pretty amazing.
It's well put together.
Say what you will about the actual content of the book. I'm not sure what the word is, but it's not a linear book.
It's not a traditional book by any means. Yeah. No, it's very it's kind of a mixed.
And you have to sort of look at everything with sort of a cynicism that you read, because there's a lot of
inconsistencies, and there might be tamperings.
It's a dossier format. If you don't know, it's sort of a
compilation of files and letters and like documents and
newspaper cutouts,
newspaper articles, pictures,
journals, diaries.
Some beautiful pictures in there.
Yeah, there's some. It's a really great book. If you're a fan of Twin Peaks,
it's a must.
And you haven't picked it up, yeah, check it out. So in this video we're gonna sort of we're not going to give away too much. We're not going to go in depth with the book, but we're going to give you some of the stuff that it introduces, or it sort of clears up about the state of certain characters, and we're going to theorize a little bit about what happens in the book in relation to the TV show in the last few episodes and what the season 3 might bring. So to start off, a couple characters that people were unsure about their fates have been revealed. Audrey, Pete, Andrew Packard, the undead Andrew Packard, really faked his death the first time. Or somebody tried to kill him and he got away and he faked it. He sort of double-crossed somebody, according to the book. He had
probably not happening this time.
Yeah, probably not happening this time, because it's pretty confirmed that
dead.
Andrew Packard's dead.
As well as Pete.
Pete unfortunately is dead. And Audrey is incapacitated.
In some way.
So, Audrey Horne is definitely still kicking it. Pete, no more. No more fish in the percolator. Andrew Packard, we didn't really get to see much of him in the show. You learned so much about that family in the book. You learn more about Kathryn and Pete's relationship, and it goes a little nuts with the Packards. There's a big history behind the Packards.
Yes.
But the only one now is Kathryn. But according to the book, Kathryn is Andrew's sister. If you don't remember.
Yes.
So after Pete and Andrew's death, Kathryn becomes sort of a recluse and sort of gives everything up and just is just
living
living
on herself, essentially. Yes.
So that's pretty much where she stands
as far as our knowledge of the book.
So we're not sure how.
Will she be in the new season?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she'll show up in the new season. I haven't checked. Yeah, I haven't cross-referenced.
I'm not sure that storyline is worth following. I mean, depressing.
I think that might be the end of the Packards, because they don't have kids.
That's true.
Her brother didn't have kids, so that's like the end of the Packards.
She's still alive though. There might be
she signed
some ideas to entertain.
She signed everything over to Ben Horne. She signed the mill over to Ben Horne. So the Hornes own even more now than they did at the end of season 2.
25 years ago.
25 years ago. So now we're pretty sure the show is going to take place 25 years later, as Laura Palmer, so aptly put it. Okay, but the one person that everybody wants to know is what's happening with them is Cooper, obviously.
Agent Dale
Cooper. Sad to say, we don't really know much about what happens with Cooper.
Other than perhaps he's trapped in the Black Lodge?
That's
or his consciousness.
we rewatched the last episode before we taped this,
Yes.
and we're starting to come under the suspicion that Cooper's probably stuck in the Black Lodge with Laura's consciousness or soul or whatever you want to think. Maybe Maddie's.
And Annie as well.
And Annie,
but
possibly.
Annie's not set to appear in the new season, so I'm not sure what credibility
there's not much to be said about Annie, Heather Graham's character, because there's not much mention of her in the book. You barely know her in the show.
It's just kind of
very
a placeholder for like a love interest, I guess, or
I think
some
it's
sort of a figure to replace the image of Laura.
Perhaps? I think they put her in as a reason for Wyndham Earl to come back and get revenge.
That
on
does
Dale.
make sense.
I think it's possible that Annie.
We also saw him in the lodge.
Yes, we also saw
Wyndham Earl.
We realized that Laura, the screaming Laura, that blood-curdling screaming Laura, is Wyndham Earl. Shapeshifted or doppelgangered.
That's a verb.
If that's a verb, I don't know. I don't know what the
sure. Why not?
How to use that properly.
Copied.
The copy of. So we're figuring. We realize that a lot of these people that you see in the Black Lodge.
There's a lot of doubling. There's a lot of distortion
just notice
of eyes.
Yeah, the eyes are usually the tell of the doppelgangers, as you saw with Mike.
They're like clouded over.
And then you also see the waiter, the old elderly waiter man, become the giant.
So that's more or less confirmed. He's some. I mean, I don't know if he's a guardian or a good figure at all, but at least the idea of the twinning is like confirmed in
the show, which they definitely discuss in the book. And there's a whole thing about giants inhabiting the forest of Twin Peaks.
Aren't they called protectors or claimed to be? Isn't that touched on a little?
They overlook.
Right.
They don't necessarily say that I don't think they say that they protect anyone.
Like oversee.
They just make
something along those lines.
Yeah, they're just
though.
sort of
like keep
watchers.
Things in check. Yeah, right.
I
assume over the lodges.
Sort of. It's possible over the lodges, over anything else that might pop up. Over possible sort of connected personnel.
But do they keep order then, or is it just like?
I think they're
not
just
allowed, but they do interfere.
I think they're just messengers because when Cooper gets shot
by the butler,
that's when the
giant.
He doesn't get shot by the giant.
Yes,
he gets shot by Josie, doesn't he? Because he's he's figuring
in the hotel room.
Out. Yeah.
But doesn't it? It appears as the old man, does it not?
Well, the old man comes in and gives him the drink,
I
and
thought
then
he shot him.
No.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
What am I thinking of?
I'm pretty sure it was Josie. I think they even say
that. No, I know they did say that, but I'm pretty sure I remember him shooting him in the. Oh no, he comes in after he gets shot.
He comes in after he gets. The old man comes in after he gets shot
to give him the milk,
and then the old man leaves, and suddenly the giant appears with sort of the spotlight, and he says he has something to tell him. He has a message for him about the smiling bag, and he needs the ring and all this stuff. So I'm guessing that the giants are messengers. They're talking for someone. You see him hanging out with Mike in the Black Lodge, so maybe he's talking through Mike, possibly, or maybe someone else that we didn't see in the show, because they didn't really get that much time to show you too much.
The rings were a big image too. Was
the
that much? That wasn't very much in the show either, was it?
It was
upon very briefly.
It's in the movie.
It's a lot. It's touched on a lot.
Mike
in the
has
too, heavily.
Mike has the green ring with the owl symbol.
I'm trying to think who else.
Almost, I feel like a lot of people have possession of that ring throughout the show.
Is it one ring or is it many rings? It must be. I think it's more than one because it's seen as sort of almost like a club, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
so it
sort
must
of
be like sort of a symbol.
There's a lot of talk about in the book of Freemasons and Illuminati,
aliens,
and how they're sort of and they're
but mainly like you said, the Freemasons and
and there's a whole the whole thing. A lot of U.S. history is basically Illuminati versus Freemasons and control of information.
There's a lot of alien
and power
overlapped with owls,
and
then Bob is
aliens.
Also meshed into that.
And how was Bob meshed in?
Well, I know that in the book they have the image of the owl over the alien, and then you can see either, and then they do it again with Leland.
And Bob. Yes.
I'm not sure if that's supposed to mean two separate things, or they inhabit similar realms, but it could be.
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of, again, duality.
It's a lot of
stuff.
twinning, a lot of duality, like opposites,
but
with similarity.
Because
like,
Leland being Leland, he's a sort of happy-go-lucky kind of guy.
Well, he wears his emotion on his sleeve. He's very prone to like extreme emotion.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Singing and crying.
Yeah.
For most of the episodes.
And then you have Bob, who's like this just manic.
He's
just
also
maniac.
pretty extreme, but in a more subtle way.
Yeah.
Like
and
almost to get under your skin as opposed to like be in your face. But he's also in your face, so that's also kind of a duality as well.
It really is. It's not completely black and white. It's all sort of gray, which is sort of the point, I feel like, of the whole book. Nothing is like...
It's a lot of middling.
Yeah.
And a lot of vague specificity, if that makes any sort of sense.
Nothing is so clear, and also it is at the same time. It's not so obvious, but it also...
It's kind of an overwash of everything, like they say, like the mother of all others. It's like a conglomeration of everything that could be negative or positive, spiritually or cosmically. I don't even know which way they're
There's no
that.
definitives.
Yeah, exactly. There's no definitive on what anything really is, if there even need to be.
Everything is like sort of just a product of nature.
It like occurs it occurs naturally from. I guess it could be the impact of emotions too. There's a lot of extreme emotion in Twin Peaks. I think a lot of these things are born through. Yeah.
Like, the Lodge is definitely sort of an emotional realm, I guess.
They could be placeholders for certain things that are activated by, there's a lot of political chaos, there's a lot of emotional, even between, the teenagers, there's a lot of, it's just an upheaval of emotion.
And that's why in the book they say once all this starts happening, there's just this strength that sort of flies off the meter, this, spiritual something that just makes the needle... crazy, and it just sort of activates all these other things that...
It opens up, a whole different world in this one small area.
That's why Twin Peaks is sort of almost like a vacuum of just, it, has ripped open... I don't want to say, a space-time continuum, but it's possible it's done that as well.
There's a little play with time as well, isn't there?
Oh, it's sort of...
In a Narnia sort of way, it's there's
you walk through a door, you're going...
the Black Lodge is kind of absent in time. There's no time.
It's almost displaced, and the
movement.
Furnishing is it's just really... It's hard to put a staple on. I started thinking that maybe the Black Lodge is the manifestation of maybe Laura created it. Possible that it was created before her, maybe all the way back in the Native American
days. But like you said before, it hasn't
always looked like that.
Right. Maybe it looks different for different people.
Yeah, I think it's sort of that. It sort of mimics...
maybe you get what you need from it, or it presents things in a way that maybe you would understand, on a level not of consciousness, but maybe emotion, or
something like that. Something... Because I really don't... I can't see that always looking like that for everybody that enters the Black Lodge. And way early on in the book, there's a touch... They touch on white and black lodges with the Indian tribes, and Lewis and Clark going and talking to these different tribes. And they welcome Lewis and Clark with open arms almost. And they give them all these details. And the map that they show Lewis and Clark is very identical to the map that... they write on the chalkboard
right
in Twin Peaks towards the end of the series.
Right.
So the Black and White Lodge have been there. We've always seen the Black Lodge because that's just
more of what we're dealing with now, the negativity and the Garmonbosia.
No, that's what it is. Garmonbosia
of the situation. Just gotta get that cream corn.
Yeah,
just gotta get that.
I didn't order this.
But
that's exact, and we haven't seen the White Lodge. I don't think.
Not yet, anyway.
Unless we haven't seen anyone go into a lodge that's deserving of the White Lodge.
It's possible.
You think it would be Cooper?
But there's also a lot of white imagery. There's the white horse. There's the angels. There's a lot of brightness as well as the darkness. But it's not a full transition into either one.
Well, yeah, I think it's. And you can want to sort of dissect it as obvious symbolism.
I mean, it could mean absolutely nothing.
It's possible too.
Well.
It could be
imagery
illusions.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be like projections to sway emotions or whatever, because that's what they feed off of, that whole realm.
But it seems like they feed off of like the negativity and like sadness and chaos, with like the death of Laura is sort of an impetus of everything else that follows. I mean, I know we come in there and that's kind of how that happens, but it seems like that's everything catalyst.
Yeah, everything following the death, not even the death itself, just the emotion that comes with it. But rewatching the last episode and knowing what we know from the book, I'm starting to think that this was Laura's sort of doing. I feel
you
like
think she brought it upon herself.
I feel like
if
she had gone into the lodge before her death, I'm starting to think that maybe she knew more than she let on.
Well, she wasn't. See, that's the thing. You need to read that diary. I don't know how much of that is valid, but like, she's like overtaken with Bob, and she tries to pull away from it. She starts to like, she does drugs. She like starts like dating Bobby and like these things like this. She tries to like turn herself away from like Bob to make herself, I feel like she said smell different, but it could be another thing, but like to like mask herself from Bob's like power, but then she eventually just kind of succumbs to it anyway. So it feels like, I feel like if anyone had brought her to the lodge, it was him, or like his draw, if that's even valid.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'll have to get you that book.
It's possible that there was something exchange that we don't possibly know.
It's not quite clear. Yeah.
Of course, a lot of this, Mark Frost loves leaving things, sort of a mystery. He wants you to figure it out. He wants you to dissect it. He wants you to come to your own conclusions, even if they're so far from the actual point or truth or intention. But I feel like a lot of the pieces are starting to come together if you take the time to dissect it a little bit, which is what we're trying to do in this video.
There's also,
so excuse if there's any rambling in between,
there's a lot
but
of
that's
rambling.
just us trying to.
That's how we conversate.
Yeah, that's just us trying to break it down.
Converse. There's also the talk of secrets, like it's the secret history of Twin Peaks, like this, like a secret versus a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Like where a mystery is more of a solid concept, and it's like almost a positive thing, where a secret is like a hidden like. They delve more into it, specifically into the book, but it's just odd that he chose that as
the title. I think the next book, because there is going to be another book, I think after this third season plays.
He hinted that it would come after the third season at some point.
And it's supposed to be the mystery. I feel like
it'll probably be some kind of like you said, like the mysteries of Twin Peaks, or maybe the mysteries of like the Black Lodge. We'll have to see what the season brings.
Yeah, because this book is pretty much, it's all about the people. So
there's a lot of metaphysical concepts,
and it makes sense because it's written by people.
Right.
Now, if the next book is just sort of more of a literary kind of deal,
it might. I feel like it might have the same format in some way, but it might take a more spiritual direction.
It's possible. There's a lot with Dr. Jacoby, and a lot of dealing with experimental drugs and like ayahuasca
and consciousness
and stuff like that.
And, like senses of like the blue and the red, and like the vision,
and balancing the brain and perception and all this stuff. So
I feel like it might delve further deeply into that.
There might be characters that we see in this third season that might be more aware or more educated.
It's been 25 years. There's a lot of development happening. I mean, what's in this book, as in addition to what happens.
Especially if like you have people that come to Twin Peaks as sort of fans of what happened there.
You think it was sensationalized to that level, though?
It's possible, because it seems like this huge. It's possible that it's this huge story. If they have FBI coming from all which ways, there's a lot of conspiracy.
But even 25 years later, you think it's like a Roswell kind of a situation?
I honestly think it might be. There might be a lot of just like weird fan things happening. I think it'll expand Twin Peaks. I think it'll become like that sort of kitschy neighborhood.
It almost doesn't seem like it, though, because why would, like, beyond, like, Cooper and, like, maybe some of the main... Like, there's really not too much of a consciousness of the other that people have a hold on, unless something happens in this new season that reveals some more of that to the further public.